What if I told you that thing you're obsessing over right now, whether it's getting into your dream school, landing that perfect job, or finding the right relationship, isn't actually what you need? I spent 23 years chasing what I thought would make me happy, only to realize I was looking in all the wrong places. You see, we're all out here playing this game called life, and nobody really gave us the rule book. We're just kind of figuring it out as we go, right? And man, let me tell you, I've made every mistake in the book, like all of them. But here's the thing, I'm not here to tell you about success or how to make $1 million or any of that stuff. Nah, I'm here to share something way more important, something that took me 23 years to figure out, and honestly, it changed everything. Let me take you back real quick. When I was in high school, I was that kid who thought grades were everything. I mean, everything. I would stay up until 3 a.m. studying, stressing about tests, literally making myself sick over maintaining that perfect GPA. And you know what's crazy? I actually got it. I got the grades, got into a good school, did everything right. But here's where it gets interesting. I wasn't happy, like at all. And I couldn't figure out why. I mean, I did everything I was supposed to do right. That's when I started noticing something really important. You see, there's this pattern that most of us fall into. We think, once I get my IT on, then I'll be happy. Fill in that blank with whatever you want, a degree, a job, a relationship, money, followers, whatever. But let me tell you something that might sound crazy at first. Those things, they're all just distractions. They're not the real thing we're looking for, and I know what you're thinking. But I really do need that job. But I really do want that relationship. And yeah, I get it. I really do. But check this out. Have you ever noticed how when you finally get that thing you wanted so badly, it's like cool for about a week, maybe a month, then you're right back to wanting something else? I remember when I landed my first real job out of college. Man, I thought I'd made it. Nice salary, cool office, the whole deal. My parents were proud, my friends were impressed, and I thought, this is it. This is what happiness feels like. But something weird started happening about 3 months in. That excitement started fading. That feeling of making it started feeling more like, is this it? And that's when I began to understand something huge. You see, we're all out here thinking we're hungry for success, for recognition, for love from others. But that's not actually what we're hungry for. Not really. Let me tell you about this conversation I had with my best friend last year. We were sitting on my couch at like 2 a.m. having one of those real talks, and he said something that hit me like a truck. He said, man, I have everything I thought I wanted, but I still feel empty inside. And that's when it clicked. That's when I finally understood what I'd been doing wrong for 23 years. But before I tell you what that realization was, I need you to understand something really important, something that nobody really talks about, but everyone needs to hear. Every single person you know, your friends, your family, that person you follow on Instagram who seems to have it all figured out, they're all dealing with the same thing. They're all searching for the same thing. And it's not what you think it is. Here's the truth. We're not actually chasing success or money or relationships. We're chasing a feeling. We're chasing peace. We're chasing self-acceptance. Think about it. Why do you want that dream job? Is it really about the job itself? Or is it about how you think that job will make you feel about yourself? Why do you want that relationship? Is it really about the other person? Or is it about feeling worthy of love? See, for 23 years, I was running around trying to collect achievements like they were Pokemon cards, thinking each new accomplishment would finally make me feel complete. But here's what I finally realized. The thing we're all really looking for, it's self-love. Not the Instagram hashtag kind. Not the treat yourself kind. I'm talking about real, deep, unconditional acceptance of who you are right now in this moment. And here's the kicker. You can't find that in a job. You can't find that in a relationship. You can't find that in a bank account. Because those things, they're all external. But what we're looking for is internal. You know what's crazy? We spend so much time trying to be worthy of other people's love that we forget to love ourselves first. We're out here trying to prove our worth to the world when the only person we really need to prove it to is ourselves. Let me break this down real quick because this is important. When you actually love yourself, and I mean really love yourself, not just saying you do, everything changes. That promotion you're chasing, it becomes less about proving your worth and more about growing. That relationship you want now, it becomes less about filling a void and more about sharing your life with someone. I remember the exact moment this hit me. I was sitting in my car, actually crying, because I had just messed up a really important presentation at work. Old me would have spiraled, would have seen this as proof that I wasn't good enough. But instead, I heard this voice in my head say, "It's okay, you're still worthy. This doesn't define you." And you know what? That moment changed everything, because for the first time in my life, I wasn't looking for external validation. I wasn't trying to prove anything to anyone. I was just being. Now I know what you're thinking. Okay, but how? How do I actually do this? And that's a fair question. It's not like you can just flip a switch and suddenly love yourself, right? But here's what I've learned. It starts with awareness. Start noticing how often you're seeking validation outside yourself. Start catching those moments when you think, once I get this, then I'll be enough. Because here's the truth. You're already enough. You were enough the day you were born, and nothing you do or don't do can change that. Your worth isn't tied to your achievements, your relationships, or your bank account. Look, I'm not saying don't have goals. I'm not saying don't work hard or don't strive for better things. What I am saying is that if you're doing these things to prove your worth, you're always going to feel empty inside. Because that thing you're obsessing over right now, that thing you think will finally make you happy, it's not actually what you need. What you need is to look in the mirror and truly accept the person looking back at you. At 23, I finally realized that the greatest achievement isn't what you accomplish in life. It's who you become while accomplishing it. I was talking to a friend about her actually going back to school and to finally stop doubting and sign up for fall classes. But what if I fail? If I work on myself and sign up and thinking I'll actually be good enough to pass now? But then I don't. And I'm back to square one. No degree and feeling like a failure all over, is what she said to me. And man, that question hit different, because it gets to the heart of what we're all really afraid of, doesn't it? We think if we accept ourselves as we are, we'll lose our drive. We'll get comfortable. We'll stop pushing forward. But here's what's wild. The exact opposite happens. When you actually accept yourself, when you actually love yourself, you start making better decisions. You start taking better risks. You know why? Because you're not operating from a place of fear anymore. Think about it like this. Have you ever been in a relationship where you were constantly afraid of messing up? Where you were walking on eggshells trying to be perfect? How did that work out? Probably not great, right? Because when we're afraid of losing something, we usually end up sabotaging it. The same thing happens in every area of our lives. When we're afraid we're not good enough, we either overcompensate and burn out, or we don't try at all because the fear of failure is too much. So let me ask you something. What if instead of chasing the next big thing, you started accepting yourself right now? What if instead of trying to prove your worth, you started believing in it? What if the key to everything you want isn't out there somewhere, but right here, inside you, where it's been all along? Because that's what took me 23 years to figure out. And now that I have, I can finally say that I'm not just chasing happiness anymore. I'm actually living it. If you got something out of this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is remind each other that we're already enough. And hey, if this helped you out, hit that subscribe button. We're all in this together, and I've got plenty more lessons to share. Catch you in